The History of Crime. How Crime Began. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself a simple but powerful question? When did crime actually begin? Was it when the first law was written? Was it when the first police force was created? Or did crime begin much earlier, when human beings first walked the earth? To understand the history of crime, we must travel back to the very beginning of human existence. In many religious traditions, especially in the Bible, the first wrongdoing committed by humans was disobedience. According to the story of Adam and Eve, they were instructed by God not to eat from a particular tree in the Garden of Eden. However, they disobeyed and ate the forbidden fruit. This act is often described as the first sin committed by humanity. But here is an important question. Was that crime, or was it simply sin? Many scholars explain that all crimes can be considered sins, but not all sins are crimes. Sin is a moral or religious wrongdoing, while crime is a wrongdoing defined and punished by society through laws. So if Adam and Eve committed the first sin, where did the first crime appear? The Bible gives another powerful story, the story of Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel were brothers, but jealousy and anger grew in Cain's heart. One day, Cain attacked and killed his brother Abel. This act, the taking of another person's life, is often seen as the first violent act in human history. Think about that for a moment. Before prisons existed, before police forces existed, before written laws existed, human beings were already committing acts that we now call crime. This leads to another important question. Why do people commit crime? As human societies grew, communities began to realize that certain behaviors threatened peace and survival. Killing, stealing, and harming others created fear and disorder. Because of this, societies started creating rules and punishments. One of the earliest written legal codes in history was the Code of Hammurabi, created by Hammurabi, the king of Babylon, around 1754 BC. This code contained hundreds of laws that defined crimes and punishments. It introduced the famous principle, an eye for an eye. This was one of the earliest attempts by society to control crime and maintain order. As civilizations developed through ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome, laws became more structured. Governments began to create systems for judging wrongdoing and punishing offenders. But crime never disappeared. In fact, crime evolved alongside society. As trade expanded, fraud and financial crimes appeared. As cities grew, theft, robbery, and organized crime became more common. With the rise of technology, entirely new forms of crime emerged, such as cybercrime and online fraud. Today, crime is studied through the field of criminology, which examines why crimes occur, how societies respond to them, and how crime can be prevented. But the central question remains the same as it was thousands of years ago. Why do people break rules? Why do some individuals harm others? And can crime ever truly disappear from society? Understanding the history of crime helps us realize something important. Crime did not suddenly appear in modern times. It has been connected to human behavior, emotions, and social structures since the earliest days of humanity. From the story of Cain and Abel, to ancient law codes, to modern criminal justice systems, crime has always been part of the human story. And that is exactly why studying it matters. Because when we understand where crime came from, we are better prepared to understand how to prevent it in the future. Like and subscribe to EduCrim Lab for more educational videos.